On this episode, the Grinduro welcomes inCycle to the Isle of Arran for some relaxed racing.
We want to get people out, away from home, away from the normal day-to-day, take them to new places, put them in an environment, and ultimately come home with a little bit of a tale of an adventure.
We take a look at the continuing challenges facing teams racing on the British continental circuit.
Although there are the challenges, the actual talent on the ground, it's a really incredible place to see that grow and to see people achieve their personal best.
But first, a fresh-faced Yorkshireman looking to prove himself on the World Tour. One of British cycling's emerging talents, Harry Tanfield, is out to prove he belongs at World Tour level. Having attracted Katusha Alpecine's attention with an impressive stage win at his home race, the Tour de Yorkshire, the former Canyon Iceberg rider now finds himself rubbing shoulders with the sport's star names while learning some valuable lessons.
In terms of the World Tour ambition, I've always had it in the back of my mind, but I never thought I was like, you know, at the right level for it. And then last year, through the year, as you know, I was getting stronger through the year, and I was hitting power PBs on the road in the time trials and stuff as well. And I was like, well, you know, if I'm pushing this power, then I'm capable of doing, you know, riding at that level. So, you know, hopefully I could be a World Tour rider. You know, that's kind of my thinking of it.
As well as winning in Yorkshire, Tanfield also picked up 2 Tour Series victories in 2018 and time trialled to silver medals at the Commonwealth Games and National Championships. Enough for Katusha to come calling.
I've been speaking to a few teams as well, Pro Conti level, and yeah, a few World Tour as well. And my agent had been speaking to them, and I hadn't actually spoke with the team director before, but you know, he'd been doing work in the background, and likewise with my director, and so there'd been a lot of, you know, talk back and forth kind of thing, and I didn't really know what was happening, to be honest. But yeah, it was just randomly out of the blue. Just got a call from a number in Spain, and it was the team manager. So yeah, it was stopped my bike at the side of the road, and yeah, I had a good ride that day, definitely. It was really good to meet everyone in December. We had a team launch and then off to the training camp, and I was really worried because I hadn't really been riding. I'd been riding the road, but I hadn't come off a World Tour season. I'd come from doing the UK riding and doing the track as well. So just the level that, you know, the volume that we were doing, I was kind of concerned. But when I got there, actually, I was one of the fittest guys there. So it was because everyone had just not really been riding their bikes for a month, as you would expect, you know, from November. And I kind of had visions of me just getting my head absolutely kicked in around Mallorca and getting dropped and stuff. But no, it turned out to be okay, and I got through it really well. And then in January, we built from there too, and everyone's level had progressed, and you know, I progressed as well just by getting back more on the road.
The 24-year-old would soon experience a baptism of fire, however, when he lined up at the Cobbled Classics for the first time.
It was a bit of a shock, really. I guess, so obviously we finished the January training camp, and then I went back to my apartment in Spain, which I've been in, you know, January, February into March time. So I was always had some good training weather and stuff. And to be honest, yeah, I didn't really back off. Maybe I should have took some more rest time at different points in this early season. But because I'd done so little road riding with the track, I just kept going full on, just building. And went to the opening weekend, and it was just such a shock, I guess.
Starting with Omloop at Nieuwsblad, Tanfield would race 4 World Tour Classics over the spring, but finished just 1, coming 144th at Driedaagse Brugge de Panne.
The fight in the peloton and the positioning, and it's just so important, and being confident on the bike as well, and all these things are just small little details that really make a difference. And it does take a bit of time just to do a few races, just to kind of get your head sort of screwed into that kind of racing environment and that racing mindset and attitude and stuff. So yeah, the classics were just so hard. The HC races almost felt like, I don't know, I don't want to say easy, but they were like, the level between a HC and a World Tour race is phenomenal. The support's great that you get at the side of the road, and it really drives you on. I mean, I've just had no confidence this year. I've just been kind of just getting my handed to me, really. It's been hard, and I've just been suffering through training, and yeah, it's kind of just the reality of it. And obviously the goals and the ambitions of the team are a lot different now, and that range of freedom, what I had before, which was just limitless, is now more of a assigned team role. And you know, I'm here to do my job, and that's for the good of the team, and that's how it works at this level. I'm just going to give it my all. Like I say, kind of work best if you just don't overthink it. It's like national TT. You know, if you're thinking, God, I'm going to race Gareth Thomas, he's absolutely flying. You know, he's going to go on to win the tour, or he's going to, you know, he's in the form of his life. You think, well, you know, you're beaten before you've started, so it's kind of best just not to think that. You just got to just try and, you know, focus on yourself and making sure that you're the best on the day that you can be.
Grinduro is the ultimate party-to-race ratio. So many bicycle races are a type of event where everybody's very focused on their performance. There's a lot of nerves. You know, you bring out the competitive side of people's personality, and that's all well and fine. But you can do that most any weekend, most any place. Grinduro is really a little bit of a different type of event. We want to get people out, away from home, away from the normal day-to-day. Take them to new places, put them in an environment where they can relax a bit, have a good time, make some new friends, ride at a new place, and ultimately come home with a little bit of a tale of an adventure. The greatest thing about being on Arran is it's a bit remote, but it's also Scotland in miniature. So we get all the elements of the natural terrain here in one place, which is perfect for Grinduro. Because Grinduro is really a race designed around the enduro format. And what that means is that you race only in short stages of the overall loop. So today's ride is 80 kilometers, but the racing is less than 20, I think, total. And it's a mix, so you want an all-around rider. A little bit of pavement, a little bit of single track, some double track or forest road, climbs, descents, flats, and it's a chance for every type of rider to come out and give their best and get their best. It's basically self-contained. We take care of everything that we can. So there's caterers providing breakfast for everybody this morning. Rafa's here making fresh coffees. We will have a pop-up barbershop, so riders will have a chance to get a fresh haircut. The Tour de France will be on because that's always happening here. We have a beach party before the finish. Riders finish, and then again, catered supper, the pop-up barbershop. There'll be live music later from one of Glasgow's hottest bands, and the party goes on into the wee hours. The concept actually was hatched by a gentleman named Joe Parkin. Joe was a professional American cyclist who raced in Europe for a number of years, lived in Belgium, raced the classics and some of the smaller European tours. Joe had this idea that you could combine enduro with this sort of mixed terrain thing. We've known Joe for a long time, and we loved the idea that he had, and we came together with a few folks and created Grinduro. The first one was 4 years ago. And we're very excited because the concept of Grinduro is growing. So we'll have 4 events this year. The first one being here on Arran. Next month we'll be in Canada, up north of Quebec City. And then we return to California, and the finale this year will be in Japan. So it's truly a global event.
It's absolutely fantastic. The riding's great fun. The course is testing, but it's a laugh. Everybody's in for a good time.
It's in a glorious part of Scotland. I absolutely love Arran. Why not?
All the people and everything have been really nice. Like from everybody on the islands, everybody that's come for it, all the organizers, everybody's been really fun.
I think it's nice because it kind of attracts all kinds of bikes and all kinds of riders, so it's just you get a bit more of a mixed atmosphere than just like road events. I think it's really fun to like check out what everybody's brought.
The event likes this kind of location because it's kind of almost remote. It's not, because it's like half hour from Glasgow and on a ferry, but it feels like you're going to like another world and getting away from it a little bit. No phone signal, so yeah, you kind of escape.
Well, actually, I live on the island. This is the second year I competed. I've just really enjoyed it, and it's a great event for the island. So it's great to be taking part in it.
This feels more like a party, to be honest. But it does also feel like people are passionate. They've got an internal passion for what they're doing, rather than it being about one big en masse race. It's more like everyone's just trying to do their best but have fun.
When you go and race like Belgium or Holland or France or places like that, and you see like the whole town's out getting behind it. You go and do a National B in Doncaster or something, you're not going to see anyone. It's like no one would even know the race is on.
A far cry from Olympic medals and Tour de France glamour is the domestic British racing scene. Survival has been tough in recent years, and its future relies solely on passionate sponsors, dedicated volunteers, and inspired riders.
When I'm riding my bike and I'm out in these Kent Hills, and I'm quite often thinking about, how do my legs feel? What's my power doing? What's, just sort of like really, really engaging with what you're doing on the bike. And then you sort of look around and then you have a little look at the view and then you dial back into it and think about your legs again a little bit more. Before I was a runner, really, and cycled. I've always cycled, but more for fun opposed to competitively do it. And then, about 4 years ago, my knees didn't want to run anymore, and so you have to channel your competitive energy into something. Found a TT bike on eBay for £500, went and picked it up on the Saturday morning, and the Monday went and rode the local 10, broke the course record, and was just hooked after that. Sometimes I'm like, it's absolutely awful, I hate living here, I can't train, I can't ride my bike, I can't do the sessions I want to do. But other times you think, actually, it's amazing. Generally, I like going out, finding routes that take me sort of up and over hill ranges, and you sort of hit the hills hard, have a little recover down the other side, and then turn the next one, hit the hill hard. I don't think that you're shortchanged by living in the UK as a professional or as a semi-professional cyclist and training here. I don't think that your training is necessarily compromised because you don't have access to the long climbs that you'd get over in Europe. And of course, when you first start, you are on your own, and I've turned up to loads of time trials when I get to a car park and I go hunting around the other cars looking for someone to lend me a pump or lend me this or lend me that, and you're doing it all on your own, and it's hard. But then when you get up to a level like riding for a team like Drops and you've got that support and you can focus solely on just the performance and just riding your bike, then it's an incredibly fortunate position to be in. We all have our own training plans, we all have our own coaches, we all get on with what we need to do, we all have our own lives. I've got my own working schedule as well to build into it. So I'd say that life is like a juggling act, really.
We're in the workshop at NRG Cycles in Great Ayton. See, it's a little local bike shop, so it's quite a small workshop, pretty compact in here. I was the full-time mechanic here, and now I work part-time, so I do one day mechanicking and one day sales in the shop. I just work Monday and Tuesday now, which obviously works quite well with a racing calendar. It means Monday, when I typically wouldn't really be training anyway because you've normally raced on the Sunday, so it's not too bad having a rest day. I've been on the same team since I started cycling, pretty much, and then kind of every year from that, the team's just grown and moved to the next level year on year on year. I've not really had any reason to jump ship, really. Now Ribble have been on board. This is the second year that they've been on board, and it's taken like a massive leap up. Going to continental level this year, it's sort of like those people you were looking at 6-7 years ago thinking, wow, these guys are the real deal, and now kind of we're there. There's definitely like a DIY aspect to it, you know. It's sort of like, the van's here, you've got to get yourself to the van, and we all meet up, and you know, people from one area will all try and, you know, meet together and travel down together just to try and, you know, keep the costs in check. John, the DS, he lives probably 20 minutes away from me. Yeah, he's a great guy. He literally does it for the love of the sport. He doesn't ask for anything in return, and you know, obviously we're all massively thankful to him. He runs around like a madman and has everything set up like 4 hours before anyone arrives, and he's just completely on it all the time. I think with more experience and more years racing, you sort of you become a bit more relaxed before the races. And I remember before my first race, I was like sleepless all night before it, and now it's kind of, you're there because you enjoy it. You wouldn't do it otherwise.
I was with Aqua Blue Sport, pro continental level, so yeah, I gained so much experience up there and got a Grand Tour under my belt, a couple of monuments, doing Liège, Bastogne-Liège and races like that. So yeah, it was a great 2 years actually, and yeah, really kicked on like physically and like what I gained like experience-wise as well. It's my second spell with Wiggins. I was here 2016 for a year, but yeah, it is kind of like a different ball game really altogether. Brad's like a legend, not just in British cycling, but worldwide, you know. We all know what he's achieved over the years. Yeah, it's nice to be racing with his name on your back, and everyone kind of like takes really well to the team.
Okay, Jason, race start. 13:41 is the time. 13:41 start. Don't panic, just work your way up through the cars, yeah?
You've kind of got to like be switched on from the start, right through the whole race. You can't. There's not much chance in these races to sit back and relax and like, you know, switch off. You know, you've got to be on your toes. You never quite know when it's going to go. If you get the right combination of guys from, you know, the 6 continental teams going up the road, then you're kind of looking around at who's actually going to chase it down. So communication can be a bit difficult in that regard. You know, you haven't got radios to communicate either.
Keep yourself fueled up, because you've got tomorrow as well, yeah? And just like, see how it goes towards the end of the race. You could win this. All right. Seriously, you could win this. Cheers. Just, yeah, good. Anything?
The style of racing, when you come back here, it's like, it's an aggressive style of racing. It's completely different. You know, them high level sort of races, everyone's so well drilled, everyone kind of knows and what's going to happen in a way, a little bit, where, you know, anything can happen in these races.
Story racing has evolved and ebbed and flowed across the last few years. We've had 2 seasons where we were a UCI team. One of those seasons was last year. And one of the challenges as a team, a small team anyway, is the value for money of paying that registration to be a UCI team, only to find out you can't get into any of the races. So we decided to take a step back from being a UCI team this year, and we decided to open our doors to junior riders, something we hadn't done before. And we've been trying to find our kind of place within the system, really. I think one of the things we always try and impart upon all our riders is it's important to have process goals. It doesn't mean to say that you look at a results sheet and think, oh, I didn't win, that wasn't a good day. We have process goals within the race, within the stage, things that we want to try and achieve. At the moment in the UK, the structure for women is just one tier, so you have clubs and teams that are all at the same level. I think for people progressing, it can be quite daunting. So if you come into racing as a 4th category rider, you can very quickly find yourself in 2nd category. We often have some very, very strong athletes coming into the women's peloton, but because the bunch sizes are often quite small at regional level, they lack the technical skill that's needed when they come into a bigger bunch. And obviously that's going to put some people off because nobody wants to cause a crash. Television coverage in women's cycling is a big issue. When we turn on, TV channels, we can see any number of men's races, reruns of men's races, and until people are on television live, it's very difficult for a sponsor to kind of really garnish their return on investment. But we're a free-to-view event, and it's not like a football match, a rugby match, cricket match. There's no ticket on the door to come and watch these races. You can stand roadside and see the best athletes in the world flash past, and it's not cost you a penny. And it's just about trying to build up those unique selling points, bringing the crowds to cycling. So it's a hugely positive place to be. There's so many inspiring people around you, so many young, eager athletes that are trying to beat you and do beat you, and there's so much to learn. Although there are the challenges and team managers and perhaps parents will have sleepless nights about, what the cash flow situation is, the actual talent on the ground, it's a really incredible place to see that grow and to see people achieve their personal best.